Fuck art school. This is a huge scam. And you do not need a $100,000 degree to become an artist. That should be painfully obvious. But the reality is, so many people are going this route. I have a friend, a close friend of mine, who recently shared that he is going to be traveling to London to start his higher education. He stated very clearly he's going to this college to begin to have conversations around art in a very specific religious context. And he was doing a crowdfunding campaign for $100,000 a fucking year. And I could not believe this. I thought, what is that $100,000 getting you? And if you think I'm exaggerating about this, I also was living in LA for 10 years. There are people who go to multiple prestigious film schools at $60,000 to $80,000 a year. And my question is always, what is that money actually getting you? If this was a business loan, what would you be saying you'd be returning that investment on? So when you get a business loan, you have to kind of go to the bank and say, hey, I need this amount of money, and this is my plan to pay this back. But with these art schools, they don't care about that. They just want to get you in debt. It's a bad, stupid deal. Full transparency. I went to film school, but it was a small community college. It was just really nitty gritty. But the fact is, in today's day and age, you don't need to do this. By the end of this video, we're going to get to a real point and a real action step you can take. What if I told you there's a much better option? And if you're watching this on YouTube, you're probably aware of this better option. Before I go any further, like this video, subscribe to the channel, or I might die. I think that's how it works. So if you don't subscribe to this channel, I die. So if you don't want me to die, you should subscribe right now. But I will say also thank you for I think I'm almost at 3,000 subscribers. So thank you. So let me share some statistics with you. The average art school tuition is anywhere from $20,000 to $60,000 a year. Student loan for art graduates is often exceeding $50,000 to $100,000. Then let's talk about employment. So this is what I was talking about, the return of investment. So if you were going to a business and say, hey, I'm starting a business where I need $50,000, they'd be like, okay, well, how are you going to pay us back? Well, through my business, because I'm creating this system to generate money, and it's going to exceed over time, and I'll be able to pay you back with interest. Well, the thing is, with art school, only 27% of fine art majors work in the field that is related to their degree. So, does that seem like a good deal? Are what they are promising for their price of what they're giving you sound like a fair return on your investment? And I know a lot of people may say, I went to art school, I went to film school, I learned so much, it was really worth my time, I'm so glad I did. And they'll basically justify, in a lot of sense, their reasons for that. And my whole thing here is, you can do all of that without putting yourself in crippling debt. Now, here's another thing that I want to talk about. The actual system here. Like I said, I went to film school, and at this point in my life, 10 years after finishing it, I've done far more than any of my professors did. A lot of these professors, a lot of these teachers in these film institutes are just academics. None of them have actually created a career as an artist. That's why they're teaching it. And I also know fellow students of mine who I graduated with who couldn't figure out a path into creating film, couldn't do it for themselves. So what they were doing is like, well, maybe I should just get a master's degree so that I can teach it. That's the racket, and that's the bullshit system that they're in. A lot of these people have never figured out how to make an actual career as an artist. So what they do is teach about it. It's kind of a cop-out, and it's kind of bullshit, but it's the reality. A lot of them have zero business sense, have no entrepreneurial skills, and they have not figured out how to create a whole life of an independent artist, especially in this day and age. A lot of them are married to old systems. that just are not relevant in the internet era as it is today. So let me just paint this picture. You're going to a bunch of people teaching you how to be an artist who have never actually had a career as an artist. And they're shackling you with years and years of massive student loan debt that you'll never get out of without actual preparation for how to navigate your life as an artist and to make it a career. And I know this because all the stuff that I've had to figure out on the business side of things, whether it's film or music, none of my teachers had a clue about this stuff. They didn't know about this. They didn't teach it because they had no expertise in it. And I see this over and over again. Even other film students in Los Angeles who go, I'm not going to name names, but there's some schools that just charge an insane amount of money. And yet they don't really have a business plan how to move forward into that. What they do is offer connections and opportunities to build relationships that might pay off later, but that's not necessarily a real business plan. So I want to be at least give flowers where they are due. And what I do find valuable about going to school is the community aspect, is to work with your peers, to access some mentors, also some structure. A lot of us artists are trying to do things by ourselves, and not having structure can be a real detriment. Trying to always find our own motivation, our own disciplines. When you're in community, a lot of that stuff comes beautifully just because as you're in a part of community, you're seeing other people work at what they're doing. It inspires you. You can help people out. They help you out. Just seeing other people doing stuff and being motivated usually activates my own sense of pride of like, okay, well, if they're working their ass off, I better get to it as well. And also some resources. I admit some schools do provide resources, so at least you can get your hands and your feet dirty creating. That was an opportunity where I went. They just had us some gear. They gave us very basic principles, and I just got my hands in the mess and started making. And honestly, that is probably some of the best real advice. If someone were to say, hey, what school should I go to? What kind of education I get? I'd say, if it's film, just pick up a fucking camera and start shooting stuff. You have enough resources here on YouTube, online education, and that is where I'm going with this. Online education and community are all now available in the online space. This whole Art and Void channel has been leading somewhere. So where is this all going? This is my introduction for the first time on this YouTube channel, the Art and Void online community. Is this a complete replacement for everything you could possibly learn in art school? No, but it's taking the core elements that I found were most valuable in them and then creating an environment for support for you to flourish as an independent artist. So first, go check out the link below. It's school.com/artandvoid. Right off the bat, you get immediate access to a complete online course that I created called The Spiritual Path to Artistic Freedom. There's also a masterclass on building your email newsletter, which is actually going to be far more powerful for any of you to develop over just having a big social media presence. You get to control your message. You get to go directly to your audience. So there's a masterclass on that. There's also a 7-day meditation journey to open and expand your own creativity. There's also weekly Zoom calls. There's regular workshops. There are special events that we dive into more holistic and spiritual practices, something like breath work or some journaling so that you can help clarify your own thoughts. These are some of the things, and there's only going to be even more stuff added to it. So you get a shit ton of stuff. You get access to the community itself. We engage together on these calls, and we provide support, insight, and the energy that I found the most valuable thing for me. Of all things going to film school, the most valuable thing was simply having the energy of being around other creatives doing something creative. Now, oftentimes what happens is now we're out into the real world. We're doing things on our own. We're trying to chip away at our album. We're trying to write our book. We're trying to do this. We don't have that community energy and support around us. You're not seeing other artists come up with creative ideas. So you just watch another YouTube video, or you go on Instagram and maybe follow something, but you don't actually have that real engagement. One of the things I've also done along with my whole creative path is I've been a creative coach. I've been a consultant. People have hired me directly to simply offer my program to them to help them do something like write a script. So they have a specific goal in mind. They pay me money and I guide them through that process. Well, instead of paying me, over $1,000 to go through this process, you can join this community risk-free. You can start checking out everything that I have available in there, and we can jump on calls together and engage and get that guidance, not only from myself, but also other artists who are doing really cool shit. So I am so grateful for everything and all the people who have been watching this channel. If you're ready and you're willing and interested in taking the next step in your growth as an artist that isn't based on the old, outdated, shitty models of higher education, then step into the Art and Void community. There's literally zero risk to try it out, and we will start to make a movement of these artists who are truly committed, supporting each other, and getting our beautiful work out into the world. And I want you to be part of that. I'd love to see you on the next call. Thank you for watching this video. See you in the next one.